Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for the Walking Dead universe, and in today's video, we're going to be doing another video after episode 4 of The Walking Dead Ones Who Live. We're going to go through all the fan hype and all the reactions from episode 4, and do we think it's truly the best Walking Dead episode ever made? Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe, and in today's video, we're going to be doing another discussion video. This one, we're going to be talking about episode 4 of The Walking Dead Ones Who Live, and do we think this episode was worth the hype? So, as you guys know, obviously, this has been talked about for a long time, episode 4 of The Ones Who Live. I think about a month ago, when the early reviewers got this episode, they considered it the best episode of the Walking Dead franchise. Now that we've all seen it as a fan base overall, does it live up to that, right? Does it actually live up to what they were teasing, right? So we're going to go into that a little bit in this video. Now, you guys know, if you saw my review yesterday, I absolutely loved this episode. I loved this episode. It was amazing. It was great to see the reconnection between Rick and Michonne, and getting to see that full character transformation from Rick, going from being afraid of the CRM to actually taking a chance and try to make an attempt to go home. It was really good. And the mentions of Carl, the trauma he went through, all the stuff, the questions that Michonne asked him about, does he even love her anymore and stuff like that. It was a really powerful episode, and it really was moving in a lot of different, spots. So how does this episode rank? In comparison to a lot of the episodes we've seen of this franchise, it's a big franchise. It's a big question. For me, I'll say this. Anybody that tells me that this is the best episode of the Walking Dead universe, I think it's a little far-fetched. I'm going to be honest with you on that. I don't think it's that good, but I do think it's a phenomenal episode. I do think it's a phenomenal episode for sure. I would argue it is probably I think objectively speaking, it's the best episode of Ones Who Live, just because of the writing and what they do with the characters and the transformation and stuff like that. Although I do think that the premiere is very close, if not on par with it. Years, episode 1, I think they're both really phenomenal in their own right. I might prefer episode 4 a little bit, just because I feel like it delves into the characters a little bit more. And it kind of just, shows you where they're at mentally and stuff like that. But I will say that episode 1, Years, is very close as well, too. That episode is phenomenal. Now, in terms of best of the franchise, I have a few episodes, I would say, that are better, for me at least, of the franchise than 104 of Ones Who Live. I would say that I prefer 905, Rick's final episode, No Way Out, No Sanctuary, Too Far Gone, Better Angels, I may even prefer Days Gone By, there's a few episodes I would still say that remain better than that, but I think this episode would definitely land in a top 10 for sure, and I know that might sound extreme, but maybe a number 8, number 9, number 10, in a top 10 best episodes of the franchise. I could definitely agree with that. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. It really is that powerful, and it is that emotional, and it admittedly got me crying when I was watching it, so I will give some credit where credit is due there. I think it's a very phenomenal episode in the way they do it, the execution. It's very, very good, and it really tugs at the heartstrings in a lot of areas. Now, do I think the episode was overhyped by early reviewers? A little bit. I will admit that. A little bit. I don't think it's the best episode Walking Dead ever put out. No, I don't think that at all. So I think a little bit it was overhyped, but I will say, I think the reason why it was hyped up that much is not only how good the episode was, but the fact that it was also written by Danai Gurira. I feel like people just kind of put it up there on a pedestal where it's like, okay, yeah, it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal episode, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's the number 1 of the franchise. I think that's a little bit, a little bit far. Again, if you have that opinion, that's totally fine. But, I would say number 8, number 9, number 10, somewhere in there in my top 10 of the franchise, it would definitely crack a top 10 for sure. But I don't think it would be like, like number 1, number 2. Like, no, I don't think it's that type of level. But it's a great episode. It really is. And to me, it is, at least for me, my favorite episode of Ones Who Live. Although, objectively speaking, you could either say 1 or 4, one of those two. But I am excited because once Ones Who Live is done, and I guess I'll say this now, I am going to do an updated top 10 best episodes of the Walking Dead universe, because there are at least, a few from this show that would definitely make a spot in there. And plus, once we see episode 5, once we see episode 10, once we see episode 5 and once we see episode 6, I'll make a top 10. You know what I'm saying? So that's, something I'll be able to do, once that happens, once the season concludes in the next 2 weeks, but, which, already insane that we're concluding this in 2 weeks, but it is what it is. But anyway, post your comments down below. How do you guys feel about episode 4? Do you think it was overhyped? Do you think it lived up to the hype? Or are you kind of like me where you're like, yeah, that was an amazing episode, but it wasn't the best of the franchise, So let me know. Anyway, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click the subscribe button to don't miss any of the videos of The Walking Dead. Be sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead Reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos of The Walking Dead franchise. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.